Today we're going to show you how to copy data from one store to a new store using Altera. Altera is an alternative to Matrixify, so you might find a lot of the process familiar, although there's a couple advantages to using Altera. For example, you don't need to manually create metafield or metaobject definitions, and the same thing goes with locations, as well as it's easier to keep track of the import progress. Let's get started. Here we have our demo store with a bunch of products. We have some orders here, and then we also have a few different locations on the app, 2 different locations here, and you also see we have some discounts that we'll bring over, as well as a few different objects here. So what we can do is, just looking at the new store for comparison, we don't have any meta objects here. There's no orders, products, or anything. So what we'll do is we'll open up Altera and we'll click on New Export. And then we need to choose the different data types that we want to bring over. In our case, we'll do products, our collections, blog posts, orders, files, meta objects, pages, customers, meta object and metafield definitions, menus, discounts. Let's do locations. And then for each of these data types we selected, down below we can select the individual fields that we need. If you don't have too much data, it's easiest just to select all. If you have a lot of products and there's some things like variant metafields that you don't need, you could deselect those to speed up the import process or the export process a little bit. I'll just go through and choose select all for these, and I think that should be it. So once we have all these, we just want to confirm over here that the file format is Excel. This is probably the easiest to deal with, and everything will be in a single workbook. And then we can click Start Export. What the app will do now is we'll go through and write all the files, menus, pages, orders, and so forth into a big Excel workbook that it will give you, which you can download and then upload that to the new store. One thing just to mention while the file is processing, when we export files, we export the URLs to those files, and then when those get re-imported into the new store, the app will download the files from the old store. What this means is that when you're doing the migration, the old store still needs to be active. However, once it's complete, you can shut down the old store. It doesn't need to continue running. Once we have all this, we'll do download output, and we'll see our workbook here. We have, as I mentioned, the files here, and then we have other things like products. You'll notice that we have the locations here, our meta objects, and then if we go all the way over to the right, we'll see some other ones like meta object definitions or metafield definitions. Now that we have this file, we can import it to the new store. So we'll go over to the new store, and before we do the import, there's just a couple things that we need to keep track of, or we need to do. So for orders, we want to disable owner notifications and automatic fulfillment. The owner notifications are just so that you don't receive an email every time that somebody places a new order or one gets created. So if you're doing a migration, you would get an email for every single order that gets migrated, which would be a lot. So we can go ahead and disable that. The other thing we want to make sure, and this is disabled by default, but just double check that automatically fulfill orders is not enabled. Another thing we need to do is enable gift cards if we have any gift card products. So to do that, we go over to products on the left side of the Shopify admin, go down to gift cards, and we'll click on this add gift card product button. Now we don't need to actually create the gift card here, but by doing that, we've accepted the terms of service for the gift card so that at this point we can import the gift cards without error. And then lastly, there's some situations where an app will depend on meta objects, but we cannot create that meta object definition because it's controlled by the app. A good example of this is the Shopify knowledge base app, which allows you to add a FAQ section to your store. So in this situation, we had to install the app first and create at least one record, and this will force the app to create the meta object definitions for the content, and we'll see that should show here that we have one meta object entry And now the meta object definition for this will exist on the store, and we can import the meta objects for it. For other meta object definitions that you've created yourself, the app will bring those over for you. Now to do the import, we go over to Altera and we'll click Upload File, and we'll go to Files and upload our import file. So now we'll see a summary of our import, and for every tab in our Excel spreadsheet, we'll see that here, and the app will give us warnings if there's anything that we might need to be aware of. So for example, this is a store that's on a free plan, and Shopify limits the number of orders per minute. This won't be an issue for us, but it's something to just keep in mind. A few other things that we can safely ignore here, but just it's always good to look through and make sure that everything is good. The warning here is this is for the Shopify knowledge base app that I mentioned, and it's just telling us that Altera is not able to create that meta object definition because it's owned and protected by Shopify. But once everything here looks good, we'll click on Start Import, and the app will go through and start creating all this data for us. The app will determine the right order of things to process. So when you have your spreadsheet file, you don't need to worry about the order of the tabs. Those will come in the order they need to be in. So for example, metafield definitions will get processed before products later on, which depend on the metafield definitions to exist. If we go down below, we can also see a preview of the different data types that have been imported. So this is a little bit different than Matrixify, where you need to wait for the export to complete, then download the results file. So we can click through here. Here we do see there's these errors saying that Shopify has reserved certain namespaces that we can't modify, but we see other ones like this attraction object definition transfer through correctly. And then if we go over to meta objects, we can actually see that these objects have been imported correctly by the app. Right now, let's see, we're at the import files, and this will take a while because it has to copy over some video files from the test store. But while this is running, we can go through here. We see our products are created. We go down here, we'll see that there's category metafields are mapped correctly. Other custom metafields are created correctly along with their respective definition that we can see here. Now let's go back. I think we should be just about done with the import. Okay, so it's still working on the files. Oh, actually the files are just about finished now. We can see, go through here, look at which file. So yeah, all the images came in here correctly. Now it's imported the customers and for the orders. So the orders, we can go over here and we'll see that we have the different orders. They're correctly linked to products. There's tracking numbers if we have those and connected to the customers. And same thing if we go to discounts, we'll see all those discounts here, different types of discounts imported by Altera. And going to the file section, we'll see all our images here that we have. And so that's it at a high level. You can generate the Excel file of all your store data in one store, copy it over to the new store, and then with minimal setup beforehand, import that, and your store data will be transferred over. You can find Altera on the Shopify App Store, and please reach out to us if you have any other questions. Thanks for watching.